lot of guts to be a tester.
The major thing in this day.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
The
sure you
live
have made a
breaking
lot of.
sound
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and the theories behind it. That you would literally fly to pieces, everything would break. Let's see if we can-
So we're live, right?
Feedback's all.
Can you not match
I
those?
remember this
You don't
one.
ever like that, I don't know why.
Well, it's kind
Might have
of.
been about some, I had some show, anyway, they're talking about these planes flying so doggone fast, and they were creating these Masonic booms. Masonic booms. Are we on?
You're on. You want to talk some more about Masonic booms?
Yep. I didn't have my mic on, so. They were effective. Ooh, I got pretty loud now. What's going on here?
Just turn your volume way up.
Oh, somebody must have
Oh,
messed.
why is this turned up so high?
Where am I supposed to be at?
Huh.
How is that? Is that okay now? Can you hear me? Do you want to hear me? Oh.
He wants to tune into us to make sure the sound is working okay. See something.
1, 2, 3.
Pass these down to some.
All right, it is 9 a.m. I am going to call this meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners.
You're fine.
This is where it's always been. Choice is fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You're okay.
Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. It is Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. We will start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I guess I'll lead today.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. So, just a reminder to silence your cell phones if you have one. If you need to take a call, if you could step out to do that, that would be appreciated. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube. Item number 2, call for public comment. We will still take and give individuals the opportunity to call in if there's any comments that they would like about items that are not on the agenda, and that's for information only. Those 2 phone numbers are 882-6248 and 882-6297. Those will be handled during the open part of our meeting. Item number 3, conflict of interest items. Are there any on the agenda for any of the commissioners?
None.
All right. Item number 4, action to approve the December 8th, 2020 agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, action to approve the minutes of the December 1st, 2020 meeting.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Waterman. Any additions, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. We'll move on to monthly reports, and we will start with the auditor.
We have sent our property tax levies to the Department of Revenue for review. I haven't heard anything yet. There are a lot of counties that are still need to get their information in before they can give everybody the approval. I'm pretty confident in the numbers that I sent. So that is something we're just waiting on. We're also going to be working on monitoring budgets this month. There are going to be a number that probably need commissioner's contingency to get through the end of the year, because we are not allowed to end the year with a budget in the negative. CARES Act money, I've submitted costs that we've had through the month of November. So we have spent 80% of our money. And I anticipate when I send in our reimbursement request for December salaries that we will be within a few $100s of spending our whole amount. So I've got a few little things that I can
Good job.
submit yet. So yeah, I anticipate that we will spend everything. The other thing is the last Tuesday in December is the 5th Tuesday. I will need you to meet that day because there are end of the year stuff that we have to clean up. So I guess it's up to you if you want to meet all 5 Tuesdays. If you want to skip a different Tuesday, it's, I can work with it, whatever it is. But I do need you to meet on the 29th to wrap up end of the year stuff. We could have a few claims that need to be run through on that date also. So it's something you can decide by next Tuesday, probably. That's about all I've got.
So Madam Chair, so when you're talking about using commissioner's contingency, just so people understand, we're not talking about going overall
No.
on the budget. We're talking about individual department budgets.
Within the general fund budget, within the road and
Yeah.
bridge budget, within the emergency management. Those are just the various funds that have
Yeah.
budgets within them.
So when you say the law doesn't allow us to go over, we can't finish the year, out of balance on a budget, so to speak. We're talking about a department level budget. We're not talking
Right,
about the
correct,
overall budget.
yes,
So that's
yeah.
just so the
If
public
we're gonna
understands that.
go over the general fund budget overall, using more than what we have for commissioner's contingency, we would have to hold a public hearing, have a
Budget, yeah.
formal budget supplement, and we're not
Yeah.
at that point. I
Thank
don't anticipate.
And I'm guessing the court appointed attorneys and the legal stuff is what's probably,
Nope, not this year.
what is,
So far, it's okay. We've just got a lot of budgets that are really tight. Offices have had to have some unexpected, the election budget
Right.
is one of them. I budgeted, I think, $2,000 for postage. I spent over 10 because all the ballots that I had to mail out because of COVID. So that is one budget that's going to have to be supplemented.
Yeah.
And I'm just waiting until we pay bills in December to ask you to make that transfer because I don't want to do it more than once. But that's one example of a budget that went over directly due to the pandemic because of postage. There's no way
Don't
I've
have any
ever,
control over that.
yeah, no way I've ever spent $10,000 in postage.
Is any of that eligible for CARES?
No,
None of it is.
nope, not for.
No election dollars.
No.
Uh-huh.
Nope. So that's where we're at there.
Uh-huh.
And that's all I've got.
All right. We'll move on then to the Director of Equalization and Shauna.
Where's
Morning,
Shauna?
Shauna.
Well, the good news is, we didn't get to do much this year, so my budget's good. My budget, we got a little extra. Because we didn't get to go to workshops and things this year, so that's pretty good. Right now, we'll be doing most of our year end for the next few months until we send out our assessment notices in March. The Department of Revenue will start looking over all of our year end sales that we sent in. And after they get a chance to look at everything that was sent in, they were gonna start scheduling Zoom audits for after the first of the year. But the Department of Revenue does, you know, our office, Cindy's office, all that stuff. So basically when they have time, and then after my intentions and stuff are sent in, then we'll get our, you know, state factor based off of that. So just depending on how much time they have. And then the state factor will determine how much taxable value. And I'm trying to work on my adjustments now and trying to do as little as I can to try and get to where we really need to be, because if I don't raise values where they need to be raised, then my taxable value will change and then everybody's taxes will go up. We have more sales this year than we did last year. The interest rates were extremely low, so it's going to look like we are having big increases because now our assessments look pretty low. Usually I'm in the 85 to 90%. Right now we're sitting in the 80, and I need to get those up to about 90. So that's a little scary, especially with people losing jobs and everything that's going on this year. Hopefully our economy can handle it. But like I said, I'm trying to do as little as I can, make everything right and do my job correctly. So that way everybody's taxes don't go up. And then right now the appraisers are out working. COVID's kind of put us behind, but this weather has been amazing and working with us. So hopefully we can get pretty caught up in the next couple of weeks with the good weather. So.
When you referred to sales have been good, and we've had a lot of sales, they've been very, very good too. I know
Yes.
I've been watching the land sales, and of course, beans hit $12 here, and corn got up $4 and whatever, but land sales are very strong. And it's amazing that they've hung in there the way they have, but they're very, very good. It's good to see.
Yeah.
Very, very strong.
And just, Madam Chair, just for clarification for those listening. So when you're talking about raising the values so that you don't have the taxable value go up too much. And so the taxable value is determined by the state.
By the state.
And if it looks like, and so basically what's going on is if it looks like we're not doing our job at the county level by assessing it at the correct level, then the state's going to increase that taxable level.
Well, we have a median level of assessment for each county, and that's what determines the state factor for the county.
Okay.
So my assessment ratio versus selling price needs to be at a certain level, and whatever level it's at, then that's divided by the 85%, and that's what determines the level or the state factor. So the closer I am to 100% of actual market value, the less the taxable value is.
And so that's incentive for a county to get it on the.
Because basically if I leave all the assessments the way they are and not really raise anything, then that actually raises taxable value for the whole county, and all the taxes will go up.
So I know,
because the taxable value does.
So as you see your assessment change, people just need to keep on mind, the idea is to make this as
Yep,
fair
and
as
actually
possible.
sometimes if I raise an assessment 5%, they will actually be paying less taxes than if I were to leave them alone and the taxable value go up. So it's hard to explain, it's hard to do, but we're still trying. We're trying to make it right and not,
That's why they call you equalization.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
All right. Any other questions for Shauna?
Nope.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next year.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
No, I don't have to see this till next year. Have a good Christmas.
Too, thanks.
You'll see me before the end of the year,
Okay, next monthly report is the welfare director. It'll be Sarah.
Morning, Sarah.
Morning, sir.
Morning, Sarah.
Okay, September through November, we had 170 clients. 85 of those were with the CARES Act. To date, CARES has there has been $140,740 to help with the CARES distributed on that. We did receive payment for providing that services in amount of $10,150. So that's through October and November help on that. Outside of that, then these would be ones that weren't under CARES. I do want to comment, CARES has helped a lot of individuals who are in forbearance with their mortgages, so that will help hopefully prevent some foreclosures on that, not to mention evictions. 7 utilities, we had 29 for housing, energy, economic assistance 4, prescription 1. The burials is 6, but that only represents September and October. We haven't entered our November data for December, but we did have an increase in those requests. 8 homeless and 30 medical.
Okay, so the CARES part, just remind me when that started again. Was that
October 22nd.
okay? Thanks.
And it ends on December 18th.
The last application is December 18th, and we, as long as we have the application by the 18th, then we have to have it approved by the 30th, a little bit before that. So as far as expenses, September through November, medical was not a lot. There was just about 900 in expenses and 700 in costs and 900 in savings. The burials, there was about close to 8,000 in savings. One was a non-resident. One's a father stepped forward afterwards to pick it up, and then one was, I think, after the fact. I'm sorry, I wrote it down, but I didn't grab that sheet. What those were, the reasons those were not eligible. We did have the cost of one cremation. Housing, we spent $655 and had a savings of cost avoidance of $486. Nothing with utilities. Energy assistance, what they did up to the CARES Act funding was they were able to use their 2021 budget funding, 2020-21 budget early. So what they did, and we worked with them and the utility company to hold those off till we were able to implement those through. So that's why we didn't have any costs in there. And we just didn't, there were so many requests that we just didn't really work on that savings and stuff. So the cost avoidance on the home was $240 and an expense of $530. And as far as the referrals on that, there, was primarily Department of Social Service and ICAP.
That's it for the
Alright.
slides, right?
Yep.
Does anyone have any questions for Sarah?
No, that's good.
Hearing
that's
none.
good.
All right. Thank you for your
Has the
report.
request for CARES, is that slowed down now?
Yeah, it's not as busy as we anticipated. Usually when you start something like this, it kind of you get more and more and more. So it would be good to kind of really encourage people. The biggest thing with it is it has to be COVID related. So if we're seeing that there's a denial, it's not that a person doesn't have a situation, it's just that it's not COVID related. But the income limits are pretty high. So yeah, I would really encourage people to apply for that if you're behind on rent, utilities, mortgage payments on that. I know one individual, for example, I think the assistance approved was about $11,000, but a farmer who will definitely benefit and stuff like that. So a lot of people it's been interesting to see how people have been affected in various ways, but it's also been interesting. Some of the denials we have too is that the employer says, well, we have hours, but the person, doesn't want to work that don't have high risk, that basically don't say it, because we do ask that if they have that. So, but it's there's I think the state has said they'll estimate that they'll spend about $8 million of it. I didn't look at it last week for the numbers we were at, but we were at about $2 million. So we're sitting pretty comfortable. Going into it, we were concerned we might have to deny people because there wouldn't be enough funds, but that's not a concern at all. So, but yeah, I would definitely encourage people to have unpaid rent, utilities to apply for that. Definitely.
Good stuff. Thanks, Sarah.
All right, thank you. All right, item number 7, action to approve the auditor's account with treasurer and note register of deeds monthly fees.
The register of deeds monthly fees for the month of November were $40,568.85. The auditor's account with the treasurer is the account of cash on hand as of the last day of November. It was a very busy day for them. For people coming in and renewing license plates, the cash on hand that day was $253,575.65. This report also shows you our checking account balances, our FIT investment balance. It also shows you the general fund balance, special revenue balance, which is the highway, emergency management, WIC, domestic abuse, etc. And then our custodial funds are basically the monies that we collect and have to pay out to somebody else during the month. So we have just over $1 million that has to go to the schools, the townships, and the cities and towns that we collected for property tax revenue.
Make a motion to approve the auditor's account with treasurer.
Second.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 8, action to adopt a resolution for appointment of grant application agent.
I just got an email from Todd Kays. I believe this is our PDM grant that he is referring to, and we need to adopt a resolution, and then Jamie and Brenda signs attached documents so that they are considered our grant.
Is that in the, Cindy, is that in the packet? I'm sorry.
Yeah, should be.
Yeah, here.
There's a sample letter to Jim Poplin at the
Oh, here it
Office
is.
of
Okay, found
Emergency Management. Yep. And then documents a resolution that the board will pass. And Codington County is required to appoint an application agent for the purpose of signing documents and ensuring completion of all application documents. And this board is appointing Brenda and/or Jamie as the authorized applicant agent.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Gable, second by Van Duzen. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 9, action to approve a contract with South Dakota Department of Health for community health services.
Move to approve.
Second it.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Cindy, you want to?
This is our annual contract with the state of South Dakota for community health nursing services. County agrees to pay a total of $14,168 each quarter. I believe it was an increase of about 2%. It's a little, came to us a little differently this year. Did not come to us by the normal mail route, so the cover letter, which I asked for, is still missing from the Department of Health. But from what I remember seeing online, that's what the increase was.
So the quarterly payments are $3,542.
Correct.
Okay.
And those payments were actually the payments we had in 2020. We have been reimbursed through CARES Act funding for the time period March through November, and then I can submit one more month after we get through December. So we are getting a portion of that contract back also, including the clerical wage and salary at the nurse's office. That's also
Really, yeah, makes sense.
that's also eligible for reimbursement. So we have been reimbursed for everything we can through November, and I'll have the December prorated contract amount and December payroll for the nurses, for the clerical position.
Besides the increase in the amount, Cindy, is there any other changes?
Nothing
to the
different.
contract?
Nope, nothing different.
Pretty much the same.
Doesn't
Standard.
look like it.
Right? Any
Move
other,
to, oh, you already.
So we have a motion and a second. Yep.
any
All right.
other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 10, discussion, possible action to approve the purchase of motor graders. That would be Rick.
That's more than one.
Morning.
Morning, Rick. Thank you.
These are quote from Sourcewell to replace 3 of our motor graders that will be coming to the end here in February. So the 150, what happened was Caterpillar, we have 140s now, but they've changed the numbering. So we'll be getting 150s. They're the same motor graders that we have, just with a different number. And the second page is the price that we'll pay for each motor grader, except for one. One will be $4,434.16 more, because that's going to get a new lift group on the front, because one that we have now is damaged. So we take those off our old machines and put on our new ones, because one of our machines, I think the lift group came off a 1989 Champion. So we, unless they're damaged, we don't get rid of it. But
What was that number again? 4,000?
$434.16.
It's on the third page of the estimate.
Okay.
And see, these have $150,000 buyback. As you can see, the purchase price is $329,774.89. These are the last 3 with the buyback. So the price is $179,774.89.
Don't these need to be bid?
Yeah, question. That was my question. I'm buying them off Sourcewell. I think
Still,
we need to have a, Madam Chair, just with the $50,000 threshold on bids. I mean, I think we might need to just check with the state's attorney to make sure we're not violating any.
okay, what is Sourcewell? We can buy off the state bid.
Yeah, Sourcewell, the same thing that we bought the backhoe off 2 years ago. It's that all these, what you buy off Sourcewell.
What is
already been-
Sourcewell?
It's a bidding company that the county is a member of. These are bid throughout the whole United States, and they take the best bids off.
Have you checked with the Department of Legislative Audit?
Yes.
Okay, and he said this is,
Yeah, I'll talk to him again.
okay,
But
all
see,
right,
when we
okay,
bought the backhoe,
right, yeah, I
2
know,
years ago.
I remember, but it's
Yeah.
been a while, and I
Okay.
just, the price amount, or the amount here just
Yeah.
kind of threw up a red flag in my head.
yeah, because the backhoe was pretty close to the same
So I
price
think
as
the
what we
bid
gave for.
laws say any other government agency is
Yeah.
Sourcewell,
Sourcewell, the state buys off
Right.
Sourcewell for
right?
loaders.
Yeah, just double check with the Department
Okay,
of
all right.
Legislative Audit. I think you're right that we don't need to bid it,
Yeah, and
But I
that's,
just-
this has already been bid.
just needed to ask the
It's
question.
just,
Okay.
every company.
Just get a confirmation
Okay,
from
I will
legislative
talk to
audit,
you.
yep.
This is fine and dandy. Trying to copy it, but I would much rather see a competitive bid publicized that we're looking for this specs for bid.
Most of the
And
stuff,
coming from multiple suppliers, not just Caterpillar.
most of the, what is out there does not meet our spec. Like
How are
John
those
Deere.
specs written? I mean, what's the difference between these and those specs? Is it like a 20-gallon hydraulic tank instead of a 25-gallon
No.
hydraulic tank?
The major one is the engine. Ours is a 9.3, John Deere's is a 9. So
That doesn't mean.
Can I interrupt here for a second? Can you explain our lease process and how we're getting this good of trade-in allowance because of we're coming out of that lease and the buyback amount? You want to explain that?
This, the 150,000 was a buyback from 7 years ago when we did these motor graders. We bought these motor graders of
It was a
someone else.
guarantee, right?
Yes, it's a guarantee. We
price.
bought it off,
Okay, yep.
Spink County's bid is where that came
Yeah.
from.
And if we
So-
don't go this route, there's no guarantee that we're gonna get that trade
Yep.
in.
Yep,
Plus the wings.
yeah, these are, come with the wings and the wing blades. It's all on there, except for the front lift. Like I said, we take that off our old ones, put it on and go from there, so.
I would suggest we do it this route because it's coming off that lease and we're not gonna get this trade-in difference with another company at this point. Now going forward, we're no longer, they don't allow those
Yep.
leases to happen anymore, so that might be a different scenario
Yep.
down the road when we decide to do this again, but I
Mhm.
guess it'd be my suggestion since we're coming off a lease.
I would, I get the, it sounds cost effective and everything right now, but I just want to make sure that we're not in violation of any of the bid laws. So, I mean, could you?
Yeah,
come back
I
maybe
talked
next
to
week?
other counties
Mhm.
that have bought off this source well, for the motor graders and stuff.
Just,
So-
I just need some education on what, about Sourcewell, I guess, and just
Yeah.
warm fuzzy.
So do
Okay,
you,
Oh, I can get you more documentation, but, like I said, I think most of the counties are a member of it. So, and like I said, it's all bid, I'll send Cindy,
An email from the Department of Legislative Audit to put in the file
Yep.
would be good for when our
Yep.
state auditors come in.
okay?
Yeah, yep.
Yes,
Okay.
You're saying that they'll give us $50,000 buyback on the machines that we got now.
150.
$150,000
yes,
that was the
Per machine.
per
guarantee.
machine,
That's 3
Yes.
machines.
Yep.
That's a
No.
good buyback on those.
yes, that's a great
Yes.
buyback, because we take the good off the motor
This
graders,
has
because
been
we get them brand new and we
awesome.
use them for 7 years. And we return them, they have full warranty on them. So if we have any problems, they come and get it.
And but from what you're saying though, the change in the law, this is the last opportunity we're gonna have to take advantage of. that.
No, this is the last buyback that we have
Oh, okay,
for motor graders.
okay.
So, no, there's no change in the laws or anything, it's just,
Just
these are the last ones.
Okay.
because they aren't going to offer that lease program. This has been
Oh,
our
so it's a-
protocol ever since I
Okay.
was on the commission, that we would enter into these leases because it's a good deal for us.
No, it's not a lease.
It's not a lease,
Not a
we
lease.
buy them
Not- yeah,
outright,
Yeah,
It's a
and then
buy-
they,
just to be clear, yeah.
yeah, it's not a lease, so,
But
Yep.
anyways, we're guaranteed that.
yes. And that's what this $179,774, that's what we pay per machine, except for the last one, that's $184,000.
So even if we put this out for bid, we're not gonna get a road grader for $179,000.
No,
Because they're not gonna give us the same trade.
Right.
It's because this was a guarantee. when-
yeah, this is a guaranteed buyback.
Yeah.
So,
Going
Right.
forward, that might not always be
You-
the case. but-
yeah, and you could put it out for bids, you may get more likely you get less.
Okay.
So,
We could get more, we could get less, but then we would know. Rather than.
Yeah,
just we're taking
or
this as a-
we're coming up to the end of the warranty on these machines. So we have to,
Where are we at? What do you want, Lee? Did you want something about Sourcewell?
Yeah, I just want to understand, it. I just want to make sure that, we're good on.
Um,
legal stuff.
20 hours. On
I would suggest we
yes,
wait
the
till
ones
next
we
week.
have now.
the one, I think the one most has between $600 and $6,500. So
What budget line is this coming out of?
this is for next year's budget. I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head what budget line.
It's
it
quite a
was, but
bit. I
Usually
just-
It's usually split across several different categories. Part of it might be wheel tax, funds.
Yeah, right off
There's
the top of my head, I can't.
there's
think.
several categories.
But money's budgeted.
Yeah, it's
for those items.
budgeted for next year's.
Yeah.
budget, so-
544,000.
But we need to get them going, so we
Right.
have. them.
Because we knew this 7 years ago that this was
Yeah,
going to
can
be
we,
the time to do it.
Can we wait till next week to actually approve it? So
So I guess you can, I don't know why but
Well,
I think he's
Can
just
we do it
information on
contingent?
Sourcewell.
Cindy, can we do the motions of contingent on getting that information to you so the process can keep moving?
Probably not a good idea, according to Department of Legislative Audit. They don't like those kind of motions.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
The state even buys off Sourcewell, so, you know, it's,
And on the website here, it is a government.
yeah, it's,
Sourcewell.
that's what it is government agencies buy off it, so.
It's a cooperative of government
Help
agencies.
government, education, nonprofits work more efficiently. Yeah. Is that what you're looking for, Lee, is more information on Sourcewell?
Well, I just, no, I'm more, I get what the concept is. I just want to see something in writing in statute or an administrative rule from the Department of Revenue
About the bidding.
or legislative audit that this is the process. That's more the concern of the process. I'm sure it's a good price and everything sounds great, but I just want to make sure that our process is in
And
compliance.
to make sure that we are compliant.
Now,
Yeah,
these,
I'll give them a call as soon as I walk out the door, so.
these
Okay.
machines that
If you're
were,
still going,
If
Can
you
we
get
move it
it,
to
bring
the
it
end
back.
of the meeting?
yeah, oh,
the
sorry,
machines that are being turned in now, are they 7 years old?
yes,
Okay, what's the intent of the new machines? How long?
they'll be 7 years also. 7 years or $7,500.
Okay, but there is no buyback on these.
No, there's no buyback.
No buyback.
Yep.
So we'll have those for 14 years.
Well, according.
Because like now, the warranty lasts the entire time we have it. You know,
Yeah.
about the only thing we replace are hoses, tires, glass, whatever maintenance we need to do, but.
With your comment, Troy, there still will be a trade-in value. It's just not a guaranteed
yeah,
trade-in
right,
value.
Yeah.
So,
I think a couple of years ago, we were able to work with these people and Lake Area Technical College acquired one of our
Yes, they did.
machines in the process. So it was very, very beneficial for us to work with them and the company was very, very good. But really, when we look at it, we have Cat, John Deere, and Volvo. Those are probably the three that build a motor grader, right? Or is there more?
I don't even know if Volvo makes one
I
anymore.
don't know if they do either for sure. So we're limited there. you
Yeah.
know? But I'm surprised that some of these others haven't come up with some kind of a lease agreement because they do on combines and all the other
Yeah,
machines, you know.
Guaranteed.
But it is what it is now.
We've got this, if we've got this in our, this is for sure.
Mhm.
No doubt about it. So what's the harm in looking at other options? Other than the fact that we might be driving these for a short while with out of warranty on them.
I don't want to take that chance. You know, first thing it have you puffing engine, sure is no doubt in my mind.
You can always say that, but I doubt.
Yeah, you know, granted, it probably wouldn't, but we're coming up against the end of the warranty.
If that engine was that weak, they wouldn't give you $150 buyback on it.
Yeah, that's a guaranteed buyback. That's
Yep.
part of the contract. with
Yep,
them
that's
on the
part of the
lease.
contract, so
So what's our wishes? Do we want to give him an opportunity to call?
I'll walk
Yeah.
out the door.
And
call
then-
That's
Rod.
fine.
If we can get an
readdress it.
email from them
Yeah.
before the end of the meeting, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, that's
All right,
If not, we can do it next
Yeah.
week, but
No, we'll
just
just-
see what you
otherwise-
can do.
yep, like I said, I'll walk out and call Rod right now. so
Okay.
See what I can get.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Very good. All right, item number 11, discussion possible action to adopt a resolution to ban open burning, and Jamie is here, so I'll let you explain this week what your wishes are or thoughts.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's pretty much a twin to last week's meeting. The next 24 to 48 hours, we have a category of high risk today from noon until 6, but only a moderate risk tomorrow. So I get these in a 48-hour situation. What's remaining in our favor is we haven't had any wind. And the relative humidities are staying quite high with our frost giving things. And reaching out today to the 4 county departments, they had no issues and said there's no need because what we've seen is a lot of agricultural side. The open burning side is really
There's a
slow.
few fires out my way.
Yep, I've had 2 calls in the last week.
Yep.
Nothing significant. They gave a plan and I keep reiterating to people to please call in and educate them. And they do typically have a plan. Even one told me they had a tractor and a disc.
One thing I wish that some of the local residents would do is to at least put a screen over their burning barrel. I've got a neighbor that had about a 10-foot flame here the last 2 nights in a row, and I know there's not a screen over that thing.
Sure.
So, I think that's fine if they're burning, but at least get some kind of a screen on the thing.
Is that just a standard
Yeah.
garbage container that
Yep.
they're burning in? Okay.
Yep.
Futuristically looking at this next week coming out of the state, our eastern side, we're going to remain in those 25 to 40% on the positive sides of relative humidities, and there's still no big winds forecasted as of yet. They're saying not quite critical, but the fire conditions will remain elevated today through Wednesday, and significant change coming Thursday with only putting us back into that moderate. So there's no winds. We should get some relief possibly by the weekend. Looks like that storm track to me is now kind of changed south again. That's good. The significant change that I am watching, and I think we need to keep this on weekly, is last week there was about a 7% change as far as the state as drought monitor. So now very large portions of Brown, Marshall, all of Roberts, and a touch of Grant, but Codington still remains in that 0, just abnormally dry category. But if that starts changing up, we may start having to kind of look at things a little harder, especially if a red flag warning or whatever. I like really following the National Weather Service and reaching out to those fire chiefs. All 4 of them today said no issues. So
Talk to maybe.
I think they feel that, over the last 5 to 10 years, those folks have really built up their resources as far as equipment and can get a grasp, and they still have mutual aid between underlying departments. So
Most important thing is if they're going to make sure to call it in
Mhm.
so that they're aware of it.
Yep.
So
at this time, I think we got about another week. I hope to see some moisture this weekend, maybe. See what it does, but if you folks are comfortable with leaving it on the table weekly, I think we just continue that mission.
Jamie, would you repeat that call-in number just to alert the dispatch?
So the dispatch center?
Yep.
The local dispatch center is 605-882-6210.
Just so the media gets that.
Yep.
That's what I want.
In our local service office, they get a few calls on this as well, 882-6280. So always great to have that they have a plan and just advise us. I like to see sometimes even when the fire is exhausted, that they call back in and say, it's done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
very good.
Anything else?
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jamie. All right, item number 12, action to approve claims for payment.
This is normally our claim paying day, but because it came so early in the month and we want to get as many claims paid as we can in December, we are paying claims on the 15th instead to make sure we get everything in that we can in this year. So, and at that last meeting of the year, we may have 1 or 2 claims. I believe Safe and Secure can get in here next week and finish up that fob project. So if we can get that bill paid in 2020, we'll probably do that at the end of the last meeting of the year.
Good. All right, item number 13, action, possible discussion on COVID practices and procedures policy. Do we have anything this week?
I think we've had some questions. We've discussed it on the CDC changing things. Do we need to change the wording of our current practices? They've shortened the days. Yeah.
I think probably should probably.
I mean, we need to maybe just look at
Just-
it.
Yeah,
We're not prepared for anything today, but
Well, yeah, maybe Natalie and I can take a look at that. So.
just discussions that we've had with employees and.
The change coming out of CDC guidance last week changes that to 10-day on only the quarantine side.
For
On-
close contacts,
For close
right?
contact situations.
Okay,
And if you come back to work remaining symptom-free prior to 7 days, you kind of need a negative result test to prove before that 10-day guidance period.
I believe, can I just, I'm sorry, I believe our policy, and this is the temporary policy, just refers to the CDC.
This is
policy.
CDC guidance.
So it just refers to it. So I don't know if we have to change the text
Okay,
of ours.
all right.
We can take a glance back at it.
It,
To make
yeah,
sure.
maybe this needs to be looked at to be
Yeah.
sure we're up to speed.
The issue I see it is that we don't have a close contact necessarily because we're essential and critical infrastructure workers. So like, when we have a close contact situation, husband gets it, wife is an employee, they mask up and come to work as their essential workers.
Okay.
Is the way I
That's,
see
yeah,
it.
that's, I mean, that part of the CDC, that's still CDC guidance, but that part
Yeah.
has not changed.
Right, so
So it's
like,
just
we
the-
haven't had a 14 versus 10 day or whatever.
But the length of time that person does that theoretically, if the husband says a close contact and the wife, which, that time frame would change. But I believe our policy just says, we just have to verify, just says, we'll do what CDC says, basically.
Yeah.
So,
And just that 4-day time quarantine that is on the CDC guidance.
right. Well, I mean, we didn't copy it.
Nothing
doesn't-
on nothing on ours really mirrors anything to it.
Right, I don't think it changes, correct me if I'm wrong, for if you actually have it. For
No, that is
positive, right?
remaining. That is still remaining.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. All right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's still the work, like our policy says they have to be out 2 weeks with a
Does our
positive test
policy-
unless they have a doctor's note.
Does our policy require an employee to provide verification that they have tested positive and that they need to?
We did not put that into guidance. I know we talked about hindsight, maybe we should have, but
Okay.
this is technically up the end of December, so I
Okay.
don't know if you
Right,
want to put it in
we're
place
3 weeks away from
Okay.
now or not.
All right. Okay.
maybe even some more significant changes.
Right,
Okay.
I
changes
mean,
so
I-
quickly.
Just something
I know what
to
you mean.
monitor. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Do you get any information on the vaccine? I know there was some news on the radio again this morning about how many, doses were gonna be made available, and it varies every hour, probably, I don't know. Do you get
Every
any?
day is a different number.
Yeah.
As it stands currently. Today at 1, there is another Department of Health call that I probably am gonna listen again. Preliminary, the state was at 15,000 vaccination doses 2 weeks ago. Department of Health comes out and says, no, that's been reduced to 9,000. Last week's call, it was 7,500. Challenging local level hearsay, what I listened to, even our numbers are dropping drastically, but they will still be able to probably be efficient, the healthcare first, some long-term,
Yeah.
and then phase 1A and 1B, whatever's left, will get channeled. But those numbers are dropping as far as vaccinations coming to the state seem to have dwindled over the last couple of weeks.
Do we need, as a county, do we need to get involved? I hope we don't, I mean, I don't want to volunteer, but, as far as protocol and those types of things,
Sitting on the unified command team on the logistics side, my involvement,
yeah.
I think justifies what we're doing thus far.
Mhm.
And you're on the liaison side. So we are listening and, at some point, I don't know if pod would ever come into play on this.
That's what I was wondering.
Emergency management from the get-go has been left on the sidelines.
Yep.
Of this, and the Department of Health is truly leading this program.
And maybe that's just all right. Just
For right now, I'm gonna agree with you and say, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Due to the nature of
Yeah.
the disease.
But if it ever comes to pass that we need to, we will. be
Correct,
willing
then we
to.
will be
Yeah.
implementing the plans that are
Yep.
at play.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
yes,
Community continues, the community, whoever's on that pod, committee have been meeting, so they're staying in contact.
yep, and I, coming out of my regional coordinator a little bit, there's a possibility of maybe EMs getting involved as far as county EMs, maybe some logistic factors.
I prefer you don't give me my shot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nor do I want to be that person. Can't be that.
All right.
State or the Holiday Inn Express.
So it sounds like we're pretty much
I mean, we have it covered because we're considered essential, so we don't have that close contact factor. All right, and then I guess we'll just see.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll see what changes.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Sometimes
Any other questions? Otherwise, I think we've
True.
got that covered. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Item number 14, action to approve automatic budget.
Nothing today.
Personnel changes. We have
Two of those, the deputy treasurer is due a step increase from steps 12 to step 13, 24.51 per hour. And the legal secretary in the state's attorney's office do a step increase to step 7, 1864. Those employees are Janet Beavers and Lisa Felch respectively.
Move to approve.
Who was the second one?
Lisa Felch in the state's attorney's office.
Van Duzen,
Second.
second by Gable. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. Travel request,
Nothing.
nothing. Public notices, form of commissioners.
I think the government affairs that's an online meeting tomorrow, but I think that's the only thing I can think of.
All right. Any old business?
Yeah, just Madam Chair, an update on the compensation study and classification study. So I think they did all the interviews with the department heads, accomplished that. Now there's just so everybody knows, they've prepared a list of comps. I can just read that to you real quick. So basically looking at a bunch of counties around the state from, kind of where we'd be in the middle. So the smallest would be a population of 14,000 and the highest would be Minnehaha County, just to get an idea. The two, and it includes Minnehaha and Pennington for the comps. So in other words, what counties are you going to compare wages and compensation to? Those top two though are only for data. So, and that would only apply to specialized positions and, as any background. Then the three cities, Watertown, Aberdeen, and Brookings. There's one private company in the mix, and then looking at some school districts, state's attorneys around the state for those kind of jobs, highway control, clerk of courts. And so, that's basically just to let everybody know that that's kind of where they're at. I'm looking at comparables. So, so I think that's, do you have anything to add, Natalie, on that one?
No, if people have other thoughts,
Yeah.
let us know.
Yeah, so they just want to know, do these comps look okay before as they proceed with the study? So to me, they look pretty
Pretty
reasonable.
accurate.
Yeah. So I think that's it for old business from me. Thank you.
Anyone else have any old business? How about new business? I don't know, we kind of talked about it, maybe just walk it open. I will be traveling for the executive board meeting this week. I know Lee will be competent to explain.
Yeah, virtually. So to talk about the half-cent sales tax idea. So
So aren't they doing that meeting
voter
on-
approved.
Aren't they doing that meeting on Zoom?
Well,
Both.
this is just for the executive board and Lee is allowed in because has been asked to bring that back again, so.
Well, I would suggest that they consider, because so far I've had 3 Zoom meetings, well, not this week, but I have one this Thursday and I had one Friday and I had 2 Friday in fact. I mean, we've been doing a lot of our stuff on Zoom and it's working well.
I think it's
And I think that people need to use it. If they're
But
for-
this meeting
This
is
is
not
just
for the
executive
whole
board.
association. It's just for the board.
but they are zooming in some. I mean, that is a
It's just
virtual.
for- It's a
understand.
board meeting. The officials association have the same meeting that I would normally attend, but I can't be there. But it is just board members that are,
The executive board,
yeah.
But they do make good use of that technology. So
they are allowed to meet.
Yeah.
But it's certainly an option and I wish that people would look at it. All right, Natalie, works well.
All right.
Unless you're sleeping.
Anything else we need open that we can think of to discuss?
I don't think so.
All right, then let's, we do have a need for executive session. Personnel is one. Do we have anything? Okay, negotiations. So I would look for a motion to go into executive.
Any activity, anything after?
I think it's stuff we could do next week, I believe. I don't think
we'll have
there's
any
anything.
action
If we
afterwards.
need to act, we could probably do it next week if we have to.
I don't look for any. All right,
Motion to adjourn.
motion by Van Duzen.
Right, to go into
Executive session.
Go into
I'm sorry.
executive session.
Yeah.
What did
That.
you say to adjourn?
Is it second
Motion
by
to go into
Charlie?
executive session.
Second the
Okay,
motion,
all in
second that
favor?
motion by Mr.
All right, all in
Van
favor,
Duzen.
say aye.
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 Opposed? Executive session.
Thanks, everyone.
Natalie.
Have a
Oh,
great
yeah,
day.
no, we will come back if, we will need to address this, if Rick comes back. So we do have one thing. So JT,